This explainer is provided by Consult Safety and Engineering.
What if a simple shortcut, a decision made in a hurry, could unleash a disaster of, well, warlike proportions? Today, we're going to dissect the Flixborough disaster. And let me tell you, it's a chilling story. It's all about how a series of seemingly small failures can stack up and cascade into one of the biggest industrial accidents of the 20th century. We're going to uncover not just what happened, but why it happened, and what its powerful legacy really means for all of us. So just picture it. It's a quiet Saturday afternoon, June 1st, 1974. And then, out of nowhere, the Nipro chemical plant in Flixborough, England, is just ripped apart. What you're looking at here isn't just a fire. It's the immediate, devastating aftermath of an explosion so huge it would forever change the rules of industrial safety. The human cost was just staggering. 28 people. They went to work that day and simply never came home. And get this, 18 of them were in the plant's control room, the nerve center, the brain of the whole operation, which was completely obliterated in the blink of an eye. And the horror didn't stop at the plant's fence line. Not even close. A total of 89 people were injured, but more than half of them were just local residents, innocent bystanders caught in the terrifying reach of this blast. It's honestly hard to even wrap your head around the sheer force of this explosion. Imagine nearly 2,000 homes damaged, over 160 businesses too. This wasn't just some industrial accident. It was a catastrophe that tore right through the heart of an entire community. So when you see devastation on this scale, one question just screams out, right? How? How could this have possibly happened? And for 50 years now, that's the very question that's haunted engineers and safety experts around the world. To really find the answer, we have to start with the blast itself. And the official inquiry, well, they didn't pull any punches. They used language that you'd expect to hear from a battlefield. An explosion of warlike dimensions. Just let that sink in for a second. That isn't some sensationalist headline. That is the cold, hard, technical assessment from the official report. It gives you this chilling sense of the raw, unbelievable power that was unleashed that day. So what on earth could cause something so cataclysmic? As investigators started picking through the wreckage, their attention pretty quickly focused on one single, seemingly unimportant piece of temporary pipe. Okay, so here's the setup. The plant had this chain of 6 big reactors, all processing a chemical called cyclohexane at incredibly high temperatures and pressures. One of the reactors had to be taken out for repairs. So, to keep things running, they installed a temporary bypass pipe. You can think of it like a detour on the highway, except this detour was fatally flawed. It failed, and when it did, a massive cloud of highly flammable vapor just poured out. And this is where the story takes a truly terrifying turn. This critical piece of engineering, the one thing holding back a potential bomb, was basically designed with chalk, on the workshop floor. No blueprints, no calculations, just a rough sketch where people walk. It's almost unbelievable. This table right here shows just how reckless that whole modification was. I mean, look at this. The bypass used a smaller pipe. It had this bizarre dogleg shape that created huge stresses the original straight design never had to deal with. It was held up by scaffolding. But the most shocking part, the absolute kicker, nobody bothered to do the math to see if it would actually hold. Now, it's really easy to just point the finger at that one pipe. But that pipe, it was just the last domino to fall. The real problem was much, much deeper. It was a kind of systemic rot within the whole organization's approach to safety. This wasn't a single point of failure. This was a total collapse. And this brings us to a really critical concept in safety, management of change, or MOC. It's basically a formal timeout, a chance to ask, hey, if we change this thing, what could possibly go wrong? It's a structured way to look at all the risks before they become a reality. At Flixborough, that crucial question was just never asked. You know, the Swiss cheese model is the perfect way to visualize what happened. Imagine your safety barriers are all slices of cheese. Well, for a disaster to happen, the holes in every single slice have to line up perfectly. And at Flixborough, oh boy, did they ever. First, a previous change that nobody managed properly caused the initial crack. Next, the bypass was rushed and treated like a simple plumbing job. Then you had no qualified engineer on site to say, stop, this is a terrible idea. Nobody did a risk assessment. And finally, on the day of the disaster, they changed the startup procedure, putting the final fatal stress on that weak pipe. Every single safety barrier had failed. And here it is, right from the official report, in black and white. A critical lack of expertise. The people in charge, however well-intentioned they might have been, they were flying completely blind, straight into a catastrophe. But here's the thing. Out of all this tragedy, a safety revolution was born. The shockwave from Flixborough literally forced industries and governments all over the world to fundamentally rethink how they manage dangerous processes. You can actually draw a straight line from the rubble of that plant to the safety regulations we all rely on today. The disaster directly led to new advisory committees. The lessons learned here, plus another disaster in Italy, led to brand new safety directives across Europe. These became the foundation for the modern COMA regulations that protect communities right now. So, after all this time, after digging into the cause and its legacy, what's the one lesson from Flixborough that we absolutely need to remember today? Here it is, the key takeaway. That bypass pipe didn't fail in a vacuum. The entire system failed it. The culture, the procedures, the people, the expertise, it all crumbled. Real safety isn't just about having strong pipes. It's about having a strong organization that is constantly questioning, challenging, and learning. And that leaves us with a really haunting question, doesn't it? We know the technical reasons for Flixborough, sure, but the human factors, things like complacency, rushing to get a job done, putting production ahead of safety, those threats are timeless. So in our own workplaces, in our own lives, are we truly, honestly listening to the lessons of Flixborough? This explainer was brought to you by Consult Safety and Engineering.